The prince has really gone too far. Xi Wang is the crown prince, adored by all in the capital, and I'm just the orphan of his father's comrade minus arms. In the 10th year of living with him, his parents decided to set us up on a date. He sneered. Does she even deserve it? Later, the blind minus date partner arrived at the door carrying the betrothal gifts. Kid, with red minus rimmed eyes. He chased the person away and forcefully pinned me against the wall. Sister, didn't you say you liked puppies? Wang. Nightclub. Neon lights flicker. The noise is deafening and on stage. The young girl spins gracefully in a mesmerizing dance. I skillfully pushed open the door to the VIP box. Xi Wang lounged lazily in the central throne. His sharply defined fingers idly twirled the whiskey glass, its amber minus colored liquid shimmering and dancing between his fingers to the rhythm of the music. The men and women inside noticed my movement, and their gazes all turned toward me at once. Xi Wang's shady cronies didn't seem the least bit surprised. Instead, they wore expressions that clearly said they were here to watch a show. Meanwhile, his peach minus-like eyes took their time scanning me, his pupils slightly narrowed, his brows lightly raised in a teasing arch. I raised my hand and turned off the music switch on the wall. The hubbub in the private room came to an abrupt halt, and the overhead lights suddenly flared to life, leaving no corner of the once minus lavish scene hidden from view. Everyone get out. I glanced at the group of heavily made minus-up girls on the stage. They exchanged uneasy glances with one another, then finally filed out in single file. TSK, Xiao's little secretary is here again to check in on him. Someone teased in a sarcastic tone. Even more accurate than an alarm clock, just make sure Xiao doesn't come home after midnight, and Secretary Bai will definitely show up. Here's the illustrious Xi family's heir apparent, being completely bossed around by some little secretary who'd believe that. Right you are. Last time we were racing on Akina Mountain, the tire marks hadn't even gotten warm yet when Secretary Ba's call came rushing in. Here it comes. Who could put up with that? Young Master Xi is just too nice to his subordinates. Xi Wang lounged lazily in the green leather sofa. The light from the crystal chandelier cast a glow on his sharply defined profile, and a fleeting shadow of melancholy flickered between his brows, a fleeting expression that was almost impossible to catch. I walked straight up to him, my gaze falling on the girl in his arms, who was wearing only a tube top. Sensing my stare, the girl unconsciously drew back slightly. You go out too. Hearing this, the girl was about to stand up, but Xi Wang suddenly grabbed her shoulder, applying such force that it caused her pain. Did I tell you to move? His voice was soft, yet it sent the temperature in the entire compartment plummeting to freezing point. The girl froze in place, not even daring to breathe. I repeated myself again, my tone harsh. Get out. Sit down. Xi Wang said, his Adam's apple twitching slightly. She froze in place like a rabbit suddenly caught in the sights of two wolves at once. He stared at Xi Wang. His fingertips were tapping lightly against the crystal glass, his profile bathed in golden light. He raised his eyes and looked at me coldly. Who do you think you are, daring to interfere with me? I ignored him, my tone growing even colder. Get out. Sit down. Go out. Sit down. And so, as the girl kept getting up and sitting down, giggles erupted all around her. It completely lost my patience. Pulling out a wad of cash, I flung it onto the coffee table and raised my voice slightly. Right now, get out. The air suddenly froze. The girl's face flushed red, and she stole a glance at Xi Wang. Seeing that he remained silent, she grabbed the money and fled in a panic. After a long pause, Xi Wang slowly raised his eyelids, and the icy coldness in his eyes gradually faded away. Leaning on his arms and resting his forehead, he lightly tapped his temple with his fingertips, a teasing curve playing on his lips. You chased away my midnight snack. How about you take its place? I'm the personal assistant personally appointed by old Master Xi for Xi Wang, the young master of the Xi family. Everyone in the capital's social circles knows that Xi Xiaoxiao is strikingly handsome and dashing. His peach minus-shaped eyes are softly curved with a gentle smile, and the way his gaze flickers and dances can utterly captivate one's heart. It's just a pity that he is far too wild and unrestrained, showing absolutely no interest in the family business and spending his days indulging in pleasure and sensual delights outside the home. The master of the Z family needed someone he could trust to watch over him, so he chose me. My father was a comrade minus and minus arms of Ziwang's father from their days in the military. When I was 14, my parents were killed in an explosion while pursuing a criminal, and Ziwang's father volunteered to take on the responsibility of raising the orphan child of his former comrade in minus arms. During these 10 years, Ziwang's parents have taken meticulous care of me. Their kindness is as deep as mountains. After graduation, Uncle Z entrusted this matter to me. From the very beginning, I knew it would be difficult, because Ziwang utterly detests me. Ever since I became part of the Z family, Ziwang's parents have treated me like their own daughter. Indeed, they've shown me more care and concern than they do Ziwang himself, fearing that I might feel out of place in this home. Yet the more they focus on me, the greater the sense of inadequacy Ziwang, who is originally an only child, begins to feel. Although he is younger than me, he has never once called me sister. In fact, he has even turned the sense of disparity into hostility toward me. But out of gratitude for Uncle Z and his wife, after graduating from university, I still gave up the career I loved and became Ziwang's personal secretary. As soon as the words left his mouth, his brother's smiles grew even wider, and mocking remarks began to ring out one after another. Their amused gazes seemed to envelop me completely. I stared straight at Ziwang. If you keep stubbornly going your own way, you'll report everything truthfully to Uncle Z. His long eyelashes trembled slightly, and a hint of darkness flickered in the depths of his eyes. Usually at a moment like this, Ziwang would insist on engaging in a heated verbal sparring match with me, ending up storming off in a huff. But this time, he gave a carefree laugh, tilted his head back, and drained the wine in his glass. Fine. Let's go. I thought he'd changed his ways, but just as soon as we stepped out of the private room, he pinned me against the wall. The smell of alcohol mingled with the cedar scent emanating from him, hitting me right in the face. "By King," he said, "are you feeling pretty smug? Do you get a real kick out of seeing me completely under your control?" His hand gripped my chin with a firm, heavy grip. "Don't think just because your parents are shielding you, you can start bossing me around. Let me tell you, no matter what, in my eyes, you'll always be nothing but a pathetic little nobody living off someone else's kindness." I clenched the car keys in my hand, saying nothing in response. I'd grown sick of hearing these words over the past decade already. I took him back to the villa, but just as we reached the entryway, he suddenly grabbed my wrist and pulled me into his embrace. His breath brushed against the nape of my neck, hot and intense. "By King, do you like me? Otherwise, why do you keep staring at me?" I shoved him away abruptly, my voice cold. "Ziwang, I'm just doing my job." He looked at me, his gaze dark and ambiguous. "Duty? What if I no longer need you to fulfill it?" Ziwang's parents started subtly trying to match us up. "Hank King, you've grown up with a Wang, you know each other inside and out, so Andy feels completely at ease." A Wang is just spoiled rotten, but deep down he's not a bad kid at all. If you two were to get together, Auntie would be the happiest person in the world. Every time they brought her up, Ziwang would let out a cold laugh. Does she even deserve to be mentioned? His words pierced my heart like needles. But I could only pretend not to notice and smoothly change the subject. "Uncle and Aunt, please don't joke around. Ziwang and I are just siblings." But I never expected that he'd tear up on the very day we were set up on a blind date. My blind date partner arrived at my door carrying a betrothal gift, a gentle and refined man, who seemed very pleased with me. But suddenly, Ziwang burst out from upstairs, knocked the betrothal gift over onto the floor, and chased the man away, his eyes red with anger. Then he pressed me hard against the wall, his voice hoarse. "Sister, can you say you like puppies?" His eyes were red and swollen, looking just like those of a big dog that had been rendezvoused. I was so stunned by his sudden that I momentarily forgot how to react. He stared at me, his eyes filled with paranoia and madness. You're not allowed to marry anyone else. I king you're mine, and mine alone. See, Wang, stop teasing me. I tried to push him away, but he just held me tighter, him not being dramatic. His voice trembled with tears. I used to be a jerk. I shouldn't have treated you that way. But now I regret it. Sister, please don't leave me, okay? After that day, Si Wang seemed like a different person. He stopped going to nightclubs and stopped hanging out with his shady friends. Every day, he came home on time, and even started proactively learning about the company's business. He'd clumsily make breakfast for me, bring me a warm late-night snack when I was working overtime, and brew me ginger tea sweetened with brown sugar whenever I was on my period. His brothers were all stunned, saying that Si Wang seemed to have been possessed by a ghost. Yet I still can't believe that the boy who once stepped all over me would suddenly fall in love with me. It wasn't until that day, when I was sorting through old belongings, and I came across a diary. Inside, every single page was filled with Si Wang's handwriting. Everything from high school until now was written entirely by him. Today, Bai King gave me her notes. Her handwriting is really beautiful. I get so angry when she talks to other boys. My parents said they wanted to set us up, so I deliberately said she wasn't good enough for me, but actually, I'm afraid she'll notice that I like her. She's going on a blind date, and I'm about to lose it. I can't afford to lose her. It turns out that all his dislike was just a barely concealed fondness. It turns out that the carefree prince had already given me all his tenderness and special affection. Holding my diary, I stood in the doorway of the study, watching Si Wang carefully reading through some documents. My eyes instantly welled up with tears. He looked up and saw me pause for a moment, then suddenly panicked. Sister, what's wrong? Who's upset you? I walked over and placed the diary in front of him. Si Wang, is there anything else you'd like to tell me? His face instantly turned crimson. Looking like a child caught red-handed, he scratched his head and said sheepishly, Sister, I've been such a jerk in the past. I shouldn't have treated you that way. It's just I was afraid you'd notice I liked you, afraid you'd reject me. He took my hand, his gaze serious and reverent. Bai King, I know I've done a lot of wrong things in the past, but I'm going to change. From now on, he'll treat you well and never let you suffer anymore. Could you give me a chance? I looked into his eyes, filled with both nervousness and anticipation, and smiled, nodding gently okay. He burst into laughter in an instant, scooped me up in his arms, and spun around several times right there, just like a child who'd just gotten a candy. Sunlight streamed in through the window, falling softly on his profile, gentle to an unbelievable degree. It turns out that all insincere words and feigned gestures can hide deep, genuine feelings. It turns out that this wayward prince had already won my heart long ago.